I want to talk about Jeffri when they're talking about being in the house. When Tommy was asking everybody about being in the house and like what was it like, and Jeffri, I can't really date two people at the same time. That voice, I'm like, I put notes in here. She says that she can't handle multiple guys, all at the same time. I'm like, well, if this was Maury Povich, your womb would say that's a lie. You can handle multiple guys.
Stop.
Sorry.
They weren't at the same time, man.
Cheers.
They weren't at the same time.
Sorry. Cheers. I'm going all in.
And the first two kids are by one guy. Give her at least a little bit of something.
Okay.
I'm not going to let you sit up here and just trash on her like that.
I'm not so much trash talking her, but she also made the comment later on about you can't fault her for the fact that the fathers don't want to be involved. I get it. But if your first one doesn't want to be involved, okay, that makes you have to pause and make a better decision with the second baby daddy. So, sorry, Jeffri. No sympathy for you.
Well, to be fair, the second guy left the minute she said she was pregnant. Hey, I've got a gift for you. He was like, nope, don't want it. I'm out. And high
I bet he took a gift receipt. Can I get a gift receipt? I'm going to get the refund. But I'm not going to hang with you.
Can I get some money back on this? High Vibe is like, oh, Terryl, you ain't lying, though.
Yeah. Thank you. That voice is just, no. You're your own problem. Just own it. Get some therapy and own your shit. There's nothing wrong with that.
JG says, flag on the play, Terryl.
Cheers.
Look, Tommy asked her, right? The Kappa asked her on the Alpha show. Well, so what about you? What's going on with you now? She's like, well, I'm not interested in anything unless a ring is involved. No sex, no dating, no nothing. How you feel about that?
I feel great about it because no one should have sex with Jeffri because she gives gifts. You could be. Don't let an 18-minute night lead to 18 years of bullshit. That's what could happen with Jeffri. Well, actually, no, because the guys don't stick around anyway. They just bounce. So she's on her own.
Oh, boy. See, here you go. All right, we go.
Okay, hold on. Let's talk about that for a quick second. Jeffri, here's the problem that I have with Jeff.
Yes, please tell us.
Let me just say the Jeffri types. If you've made, put the camera on me. Camera one. Here's my issue with the Jeffri types. You've made bad choices, and you're still not accountable to it. The first dude that was with you that had two kids with you and left and is not involved, then you go ahead and get with another dude and produce a baby with that person that's not involved. At some point, you have to own your actions and be accountable. Now, people can say, well, guys should be accountable. Yeah,
they should be.
It takes two to, they should be, but it takes two to tango. But if you constantly are dating dudes who have babies with you and they leave you,
it's two guys.
They're wrong. I'm not knocking the two guys. What I'm knocking is the fact that Jeffri didn't learn her lesson. I think if you are 21 years old, 18, oops, I got pregnant. Okay, great. You figure it out. You move on. But then later on, you do it again. That's something with your decision-making ability. But here's what single men who don't have kids think about. Because guys who have kids...
Okay, this is the part you can speak on. The other part we got to talk about because you can't do that.
No, let's do this.
Go ahead.
Guys who have kids by other women can relate more and they're a little more understanding. But if you are someone that has children and you're dating a guy who's never had any kids, he's thinking these things. And so all the things Andre said to me was valid. But for Jeffri to say that you can't hold me accountable because these dudes don't want to be involved in their guy's life, I'm like, part of me says, yes, I can. The first guy who hosed you with the two kids, okay, you learned your lesson with the guy with the two kids. You shouldn't have had the third with the guy with the second kid. Or the second guy with the third kid. You shouldn't have been with him. And you got to say, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. If Jeffri were to speak like that, I could take her seriously. I can't take her seriously to make it seem like she's the victim. And every guy that she's dated was awesome, spiritual, biblical husbands. And then all of a sudden bounce because a baby and a placenta came out.
Let's not act like guys don't bullshit women. Okay, let's not act like that doesn't happen. Guys can be full of shit too, and this is where that's why I'm not gonna heap all of that on her. And I'm no Jeffri fan, but I'm not gonna do that because she had two kids by the first guy that she was obviously in a relationship with. Whatever the hell happened. She's no longer with him. Right now, to your point, none of the guys are involved. I put that on the guys. You know why I don't have a baby mama? Why you don't have a baby mama? Because you weren't going to be the person that's leaving somebody out there with your seeds out there by itself. So no, you can't just put it on her.
No.
And not just her alone. You still got to
No.
give the guy some fault for that.
No,
Come on.
no. Here's the difference: is you and I are cut from the same cloth. We don't have baby mamas because we just didn't get women pregnant and walk away because that wasn't who we were. But we also just didn't date people who had multiple kids by multiple dads that weren't around. You and I both would never be in that position. And so that's the difference. We have a standard. I'm not saying that it's wrong to be a single mom. I'm not saying that at all. But if you have 2 children by somebody who's not involved at all, be mindful of who you have the next kid with. And if you're going to tell me that you have another kid by another dad and all of a sudden he's not around, that will raise concern for anybody who's never had children.
She got pregnant, though.
But
that's not on her.
Decision making. I'm not saying that it's not her fault to make a guy stay. But what I'm saying is that women with children have to understand the way men who don't have children think. And you can't say that you can't judge me for this. Yes, we can. And we're not going to get involved with you. We're not saying it's your fault. We're just saying that whatever all this is, we don't want to be a part of it. So we're not blaming women that have men who weren't around. But what women who have kids by multiple dads and the dads aren't involved, you can't expect a guy with no kids to not judge and have questions about that.
Okay, here's the point I'm trying to make. Taja makes a great point. She says it better than I did. For her to have 2 kids with the first man means the father was around the first child for a while.
No, it doesn't.
At least
it could
mean
that the child was
at least
around
11
the
months.
first time.
At least 11 months, because you got to get 2 months before you can have sex again.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Stop.
It doesn't. I had a coworker. I had a coworker one time. We were out drinking, and she's complaining about her kid's dad, and like he's a piece of shit. All this negative, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to it. And of course, I was drinking whiskey, and I said, let me ask you a question. How many kids do you have? And she said 2. I'm like, same dad? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, well, he can't be that bad because you slept with him twice. So why are you like talking all this trash about him and you still chose to have 2 children? If he was bad, the first kid, why did you sleep with him and have another kid? That's a you thing. But I mean, and this is not shade towards women. My whole point is we have to keep the conversation 100, or how have I been hearing on this show, 10 toes down?
Yeah.
Own your shit.
Okay.
But don't expect a dude to be okay, like a dude who has no children. Why would I want to date somebody that has 3 kids by 2 dads that are not involved at all? There's something there. I don't know what it is, but there's an issue. But don't fault me for like questioning it. But for Jeffri to have this attitude, like, don't blame me because, yeah, I'm blaming you.
Okay.
Sorry.
To be fair, so Ronia is on your side and she says, oh, wow, Yanni didn't listen. Jeffri has to at least admit she made a mistake. Use protection.
Thank you.
Okay. And I
Thank
get
you.
that.
Hey, you know what? I chose poorly. I thought we were in love. I thought it was a good dude. He apparently wasn't. My bad. I would totally date a woman who said that. But don't make it seem like men ain't shit.
Okay,
No, you make bad choices.
Here's the point I'm making. I never said, when she did that whole, well, black men do this, like, hold up now. And I'm glad that a lot of people jumped on her in that case last week when she said that. Because no, you're not going to put us all in the same, under that same umbrella, right? But at the same time, I'm just saying, let us not do the same in reverse in that space, okay? You got to give the guys some of that blame. They deserve. Those men, I don't understand any man that can have a seed out there and not involved in that. And you know this, because at some point in time we'll talk about that situation. But you know,
I do
know.
I do. But I got to bring this up, JD. This is the problem. I'm not saying that I'm judging her circumstances.
No, read the comment first. You got to read the comment for those who are listening on the podcast.
JD, JD says, though I think Jeffri is fake to the utmost, Terryl, you cannot really judge her circumstances if you were not there. I wasn't there. But let's take a car accident. If you have someone that drives a car and gets in a car accident on Monday, gets another car and does it on Thursday, gets another car and does it on Friday, at some point you got to judge the driver of the car. Jeffri has problems. And all I'm saying is admit that you have problems. Don't make it seem like it's everyone else's fault, but you have no responsibility in any of this. And that's what Jeffri does. She takes no responsibility for any of her stuff. So I'm not blaming everything on her, but she's not taking
It sounded like it.
responsibility
I was going to point it out. It sounded like it.
Of course it's going to sound like that because you hear what you want to hear. And I've been drinking whiskey.
No,
All
you
I'm saying
didn't
is,
just say that.
I did.
I'm going to give you the hand clap.
Did. Yanni. Tell you one more time. Jeffri has problems. But she's got problems. Get the help that you need. It's going to make her a better person. But you can't be in the mindset that it's every other dude that you slept with's fault of why you're in the situation you're in. Nothing positive comes from that, and you're never going to grow from it. My thought.
Yeah.
Soapbox done.